Welcome to Yoga in Small Spaces with the Crack Yogi, myself, Cheryl. And it is March of 2025. And for this month, I'm going to be alternating between a Crack Yogi Yoga, which is something new that I've been creating, and then another session each week of it'll be a somatic flow class, which is linked to Gentle Somatic Yoga by James Knight. So for today's session, we are going to be doing session 1 for a program that I'm slowly creating with all my years of expertise and knowledge. And it's something I'm going to be starting to share with all of you. And I'm really looking forward to your feedback on how you are receiving this type of mixed practice. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to comment below or send the information below, or even sending it to my email, yogainSmallSpaces@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook, and you can also find me on Instagram. So for today's session, I'm going to be using 2 blocks. And if you find that you need blankets or bolsters, pillows, books, if you don't have blocks, grab those, pause, grab those, and then come back. What I think you're going to notice with this program, it is accessible for almost everyone, from beginner, from someone who has never done yoga before, to someone who has been practicing yoga for years. If you have chronic pain, it's another accessible form of yoga. And also just learning about yourself, which we always say that in most practices, like getting to know ourselves and how our body moves. But I'm going to dive deep as your educator to help you learn how to understand your body. And if something's blocking the way, what can you learn from that, and what information does that give you to find help that you might need physically, mentally, and not for myself, just this is you going on the discovery of your body. Like, we're our own advocates, so I think it's really important that we understand how our body moves and why. So for no longer ado, we are going to start in a seated position. So you can be in Sukhasana, which is easy pose. And as I always giggle at that, because for a lot of us, this is not comfortable. You can add blocks or bolsters under the knees if they're floating up. If this is too much on one knee than the other, extend that leg. You can have both legs extended if you choose, or you can even be seated on the heels, or you can start this in a chair. So whatever feels best for you, that's where I want you to be. So for the beginning of these practices, for this program that I'm creating, I'm tapping into, like I said, GSY will be the other program, Gentle Somatic Yoga. The other things I'll be releasing this week for each week for March. But within my mixture of my Cracked Yogi Yoga, I will be bringing in some GSY, and then also taking that knowledge of somatics and applying them to other poses that we do within Hatha, Vinyasa, Yin. And this is just getting you to really connect with these poses and an understanding of your physical and mental being. So sitting nice and comfortable, hands resting on the legs. We're just going to do a nice little scan here. Eyes can be opened or closed. Breath is nice and smooth. Well, as smooth as you can get it without forcing a change in the pattern of the breath. So I just want you to connect with your breath. Just bring in awareness to the feet, the ankles, the shins and calves and knees and thighs and hamstrings. Noticing sensation within the legs and feet. Whatever position you chose to sit in, is there anything changing the longer we're in this position? Awareness to the hips, pelvis, groin, hips and glutes. Coming to the lower back, mid back, upper back, belly and torso, armpits, shoulders. If the shoulders feel like they're coming up towards the ears, see if you can release them a little bit further from going up towards the ears, but not to a point where you're uncomfortable. I just want you to see if you can allow them to relax. Arms, elbows, wrists, fingers, hands. Just notice anything. Maybe you don't notice anything. Making your way to the neck. Jaw, tongue, cheeks, nose, eyes, forehead, scalp. Take a nice deep breath in and exhale. And I'm going to invite you just to focus on the neck. Be aware of the range of motion of your neck. If there's anything impeding on a full range of motion, just be aware of that. I love to put this into my practice, especially where my C-spine does have issues with arthritis, degenerative disc disease, and reticulothesis. So if you've ever had whiplash, anything like that, just be very mindful of what you're doing and what your range of motion is. Also, the more you gently work into the neck daily or every second day, you're giving that love into the tissue and into a muscle release around the neck, which can help with chronic tension and pain in the neck. But I want you to move in what feels right for you, okay? So you're just going to allow yourself to dip the chin down towards the chest. Pause. Then dip the head back. Pause. Forward. Pause. Back. Pause. So I'm just moving to where my neck wants to stop. I'm not forward, putting in a full stretch. I'm just noticing where and how my neck wants to move. Then come back to center. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale. Now I'm just going to gently turn my head to the right. Pause. Turn my head to the left. Pause. And again, I'm not forcing anything here. I'm just noticing my mobility, flexion in the movement of my neck. I'm going to give myself 2 more of those, going right to left, but in a nice slow motion. So for myself, I'm noticing this a lot on the right, back part of my neck. Of course, I miscounted, so I'm just going to do one more. Then coming to center. I'm going to go into a neck circle, but only to where it feels right in the rotation of my spine, my neck muscles, and the base of my skull, and also the throat. So when I'm doing this, I'm going like really slow. So I'm dipping my chin down, and then I'm going to slowly go to the left. And I chose the left because I find this side comes easier for me than the right. So where I'm coming back here, remember I said my right side is a little bit stiffer, so I can hear some crackling in there. And then my chin's going to come down towards the chest. And then I'm going to slowly make my way to the right. Sometimes when I come in this direction, I can feel a release. Oh, there's one. Then back up to center. I'm going to take it in a nice deep breath. And exhale. Been sitting here for a few minutes, so I'm just going to extend my legs out for a moment. Gentle shake. And then I'm going to cross my legs again. I am going to bring my left in front of the right because the first time I had my right in front of my left, but you go to what you need to do. You may choose to change the position of your legs. We're going to go into, this is a gentle somatic yoga flow, SMF, called Namaste Flow. And it's basically a beautiful movement, incorporation of breath, and almost like a cat and cow, and some arm extension overhead. We're going to bring the palms together to Anjuli Mudra. And just feel the connection of the right palm to left, left to right. I'm going to find my breath, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. We're going to do 3 rounds. Inhale, exhale, opening the hands, almost like into a diamond shape. Exhaling, rounding the spine, tucking the pelvis and the chin in. Now inhale, arms up. Torso's lengthened. Exhale, arms down. 2 more rounds. Inhale, palms together. Exhale. Inhale, arms up. Exhale. One more. Breath in. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Bringing the hands back onto the legs. And take a nice deep breath in. Exhale. We're going to move into somatic movement flow, heart opener, heart opening. It's broken into 3 sets. Start with this movement called the Egyptian. You're going to bring the hands on top of the knees like you're on your fingertips, and you're creating this opening between, like underneath the arm, like almost like a beach ball is being held underneath. We're going to start with going to the left. So you're nice and equal on sit bones. Again, legs crossed. If it doesn't feel good, please feel free to extend the legs, or this is too much sitting on the floor. You can choose to sit on a couch or a chair, totally up to you. So Our first movement with Egyptian, and I'm going to start now going to the left first instead of going to the right. There's really no right or wrong which way you start, actually. So we're going to open the body, or bring my body over to the left. Pause. So I'm stopping where the body automatically stops. I'm not going into a full stretch here. And then I'm going over to the right. Pause. Left. Pause. Right. Pause. One more. Go to the left. And on my way to the right, I did notice a little bit of a skip in my lower back. See if it's still there. Oh, right there. So this is like a little bit of sensory motor amnesia. So I'm going to do a little like just gentle rocking side to side. If you don't have that, just go to your right and then go back to center. But I'm just going to do this little means whereby and then proceed to the right and then come back to center. That's the first set. Take a nice deep breath in and exhale. Moving now into the second set. And this is heart opener. It's just like a seated cat and cow, but a little bit more exaggerated than what we just did with the second part of the arching, like the cow portion. In Namaste Flow, we had the rounding, but we didn't have an arch happening to the spine. So hands are on the knees, or if your arms aren't long enough and they're further up the thighs, that's absolutely fine. So first I'm going to tuck everything in, pelvis, rounding my spine, bringing my shoulders forward, tucking the chin in. Pause. Now I'm opening up the heart. Pause. 2 more. Go at your pace, but it's not fast. I'm bringing this inner knowing connection to how it feels with this movement. I can feel tightness in my mid-back. I feel sensation lower right side, but you may be feeling this somewhere else, because also I'm feeling this a little bit into my left pelvis and groin. Somatic movements allow us to really connect on physical sensation, where it's coming from. Back to neutral. Now we combine all 3, or all 2, so for third set. So Egyptian to the left, round back, tucking chin pelvis, Egyptian to the right, open the heart. Let's do this 2 more times, nice and slow. If you get to a point where you feel bumps, it's like it doesn't want to cooperate, just pause there for a moment in that spot and just slowly rock, almost like gently rocking a baby. Right now, it's right there. I feel right on the left lower side of my spine. Okay. And now I'm going to switch directions. Bringing my torso first upright, Egyptian to the right, rounding back. I'm going to give myself 3 of these. So for myself, I feel a little bit more at ease going in this direction. Oh, a little bit of SMA. Sensory motor amnesia. And just do a little bit of means whereby right here. And then continue. I think I have 1 more. Coming back to center, allowing my arms to release. And taking a nice deep breath. Return to natural breath. I'm going to extend my legs out just to give a little bit of ease into the legs, hips. Just noticing now that I've extended my legs, what's going on, especially in my hips and lower back. Those are my areas where I held a lot of tension. There's a lot going on in my lower back. And I just love these movements because they are so beneficial. I feel so much more release, more ability with my range of motion. I'm going to make my way to tabletop. So what I'm wanting to do here when I come to table, any pose I'm coming into, it's all about introspection, which is really focusing in on the inward sensation, internal sensation. I'm not rushing and just doing the movements just because. I'm bringing full awareness to what I am feeling and noticing if there's a disconnect on what I'm feeling, or even noticing if things just aren't cooperating between what I'm asking my body to do to what the muscles and the movement want to do. So in tabletop, your wrists are in line with your shoulders, knees in line with hips. If there's any issues with your wrists, please feel free to bring the hands forward. Okay? If tabletop is too hard on the knees, please put a blanket or cushioning either underneath the knees, or I prefer putting them underneath my shins, because the moment that there's a little bit of cushioning underneath the shins, the knees tend to raise off of the ground and there's no compression happening in the knee joint. So if you have chronic knee pain with having pressure on the floor, when you put that cushioning underneath the shin and you have nothing, the knee pressing into anything, it feels amazing. So I would invite you here just to gently move through a few cat and cows and noticing in this movement if something feels stuck, maybe not right, maybe it feels amazing. And if you did cat and cows already this week, notice if they feel the same or if something feels a little bit different. This whole time, I have this inner connection of sensation. I'm not just trying to force a movement. I'm feeling it. I'm curious. And then come back to a neutral tabletop. So what I noticed there in table for me was lower right side of my back, a little bit going around to right hip into the right pelvis. So that means probably a little bit QL, piriformis, issues going on, and just something to be aware of. Also, I did do an arm workout yesterday, so I do feel a little bit more within upper right shoulder into the lower part of my right neck. I'm going to come to a nice little steady position here. I'm grabbing my blocks because I want the aid of the blocks. We're going to come into a low lunge. So first I'm going to move the front block just so you can see what I'm doing. I am just gently bringing the leg forward and noticing how that felt, bringing the leg forward with mobility within my hip, glute, pelvis, and how that felt bringing the leg forward. From here, I'm having the blocks, and I encourage you to have blocks because I'm having my hands on the blocks so I'm not collapsing over the the front thigh. I'm allowing my body to come upright. So just that little motion, actually give yourself a few here, gently coming forward and then bringing torso up. And it's such a slight, subtle movement. You might have a movement as like mine, or yours might be a little bit smaller or bigger. But with this movement, I'm noticing sensation, inner left thigh into pelvis. My lower right had a little bit of discomfort at the beginning, and it's starting to ease. And then I'm bringing my body here, just learning. So noticing sensation, I'm not in pain. This back knee, again, if you have issues with the knee that's in the back, please put added cushioning either under the knee or under that shin, and there will be some relief in that knee. If it's too intense, don't stay here. So you'll notice I did a gentle flow forward and back, like rocking a baby. And it just gave me more information of midsection, especially here, almost like my core. Now I'm going to add a rotation. So first, I'm just going to allow myself to gently turn. I'm going to keep my hand on a block just because I feel like it's more stability. And this is where I am. Gently forward. Rotating, twisting my spine to the right. Ooh, now I'm feeling a pull oblique-wise and into abdominal on the left. I come back one more time forward and then gently turn to the right. You can add T-arms here, but for me, because I'm already sensing what's going on within left abdominal, oblique, I'm just going to allow my hands to gently cup around my right thigh. And then I can add a gentle movement forward and back. Not a big movement. Forward, so it's my hips. Gently back. One more. Forward. Back. And then I bring my torso forward. I'm going to bring the blocks out of the way. I'm bringing my right hand to the inside of my right thigh. So now when I bring my hips back, I can gently or have more room to bring my right leg back. So I'm going to just swing my hips side to side, or sway them, not swing them. And then bringing myself back to center, to table. Making my way now with the left leg coming forward. So again, just going to take my time. How does it feel good to bring that leg forward? I'm not just going to go like this and bring it forward. I'm going to get stuck. So I'm going to allow myself to bring my hands to the side of the right. Grab the blocks. Send my hips forward. This side seems much easier for me, which makes sense because I'm not getting that compression as much on the right because into the hip and the back. I'm focused on the left. So remember, eventually we don't want to be collapsing and holding here. We want to bring the torso up. Hello, Gracie. Say hi to Gracie, everybody. Hello, girl. Wow, impressive. She wants to be in the show today. I don't know how much you can see of her. She had a beautiful grooming yesterday. Didn't you? Yeah. So now we're going to add in, I'm surprised she doesn't usually like to be on camera, that little pumping forward. So remember, we don't want to be collapsing forward. We want to bring the torso up, but not to a point where we're rigid with breath. That's why we like to have the props. So I'm going to slowly come forward and then come back up. Forward and up. Definitely a difference on this side for me. Come back up. So I'm very comfortable here. I'm going to go into that rotation. I am going to keep the block on the right hand, under the right hand here, just gently turn. Now for me, really feeling this right inner thigh into the groin and pelvis, nothing really on the left, but this feels a little bit tighter than it did on the other side. So I'm just going to pause here and then come forward. Twist. Forward. You know, just a nice, smooth, rhythmic breath. And then I'm going to allow myself to come into my twist. Again, if you want to add the arms, you can, but I'm going to just stay focused on this lower part for myself today. And I'm just going to do a gentle pump forward and a little bit back. I'm noticing this side, I don't have as much mobility within the right side of my hip. It's all right. I'm just going to breathe through it. Going to bring myself back to center, move the blocks that are the way. Going to bring the left hand to the inside of my left foot. Send my sit bones back a bit. Step back to table. Gentle rock side to side. Okay? We're going to make our way to standing. I want you to take your time coming to standing. There's no vinyasa or anything in here, no flows forward, but if that's something that is in your practice and you feel like you have to do that, you do you. I'm just going to walk my hands back, tuck my toes, and then just slowly take my time coming to standing. The next pose I'm going to come into is a forward fold, but I'm going to use the blocks and I'm going to face you so you can see what I'm doing. So blocks are going to be in the front. I'm going to first come to mountain. Just do a gentle shake into my legs. And I'm going to slowly come forward into my forward fold. I have a bend in my knees. I'm not going to raise the arms overhead. You'll notice I'm not doing a lot with my arms today because I'm very aware of how I'm feeling in my lower back. If you want to bring the arms up overhead to come into this, you're more than welcome to. I like to aid myself with my hands on my thighs, keeping my spine lengthened. And I have a little bit more mobility right now. That's with all the work I've been doing. Sometimes I can only get to here, but this is a good sign for me today. I'm going to have the blocks a little bit further down. There we go. If I had been doing this about 2 hours ago, this wasn't going to be happening. So I'm going to Just gently fold a little bit further till I feel a nice little stretch in my hamstrings. And then I'm going to come up onto my fingertips and lengthen my spine. Sorry, my hair is in the way. We're going to do this 2 more times. Noticing when I'm folding forward, the lower right side of my back is okay with it. But I know if I go too deep, it won't be very happy. Also, with the bend in my knees, I'm giving a little bit of ease into my hamstrings, into the glutes, piriformis, especially in my QL. Gently coming up. I'm going to turn the blocks to their top, like where I have the most height. I'm going to take my feet and bring them to a distance, probably about double shoulder width apart, maybe closer, when I'm feeling sensation on the inner thigh. I'm actually going to turn my toes inward for a moment here, lifting, like lengthening my spine, and then just gently folding. Oh, right there. This is where I'm at. I feel this lower right of my back. I'm going to straighten my arms. Gently fold. Ooh, got a little bit more lengthening there. Full lift. So I don't know if you're catching on to what I'm doing, but I'm looking to see and feel, I'm not even looking, I'm feeling what feels right for my body. And with my toes turned inwards, I am getting a pull. I'm finding on the back end of my outside ankles of my feet. I'm going to gently come up halfway, bring my feet in a little bit, turn my toes out, and now gently sitting into an invisible chair. So for some of you, the hands on the blocks, you may want to stay there. You might not be able to come upright. I'm going to open myself up, super tight inner thighs. I'm just going to gently rock side to side. If coming into this pose, sumo / goddess, is too much, you can come up higher, all right? And just notice, do a gentle pump here, coming down a little bit, then up. Down, you may notice there might be a release in pelvis, groin, and up, down. It's the last one. And up. I'm going to bring my feet closer together to mountain pose, moving my blocks out of the way. I'm going to turn sideways for you. So I'm keeping my feet hip width apart. If you want your feet together, you can have feet together. Rooting my feet into the ground, shoulders away from the ears, lengthening the top of the head. So what I mean by that is you might feel like there's a string on the top of your head being pulled up towards the ceiling. But what I want you to imagine is the occiput, which is the base of the skull where the spine comes up. Pretend that's being lengthened up. Let's get a little back bend here. Bring the arms to cactus. So elbows in line with shoulders. Opening up the heart. Send your pelvis gently forward. And then mountain. So here's that gentle rocking. We're not being isometric in the hold. We're gently flowing into the opening. And then standing. Let's do 2 more of those. Gentle. I'm being very mindful. If you'll notice, I don't crank my neck back. And that's for me, just knowing the mobility of my cervical spine, which is your upper spine, neck going into the base of the skull. One more. Open, just because it feels so good. And then up. I'm going to release my hands down. And do 3 beautiful breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Breath in. Breath out. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Gonna make my way back to the floor, sliding my hands down my thighs. Coming, for me, I'm gonna come into a kneeling position, but if you choose to come back to a seated position, cross-legged or sitting on a chair, I'm gonna just focus in on my neck one more time. Chin to the chest. With where I can move, I'm not forcing. Dipping my head back to what feels good. 2 more. Go at your pace. Chin to chest. Dipping back. Chin to chest. Back. Center. Right. Left. Again, give yourself 2 more, nice and slow. Just notice if the neck feels a little bit more fluid. Are there any releases happening? Still have a little bit of cracking going on. Ooh, felt a release there. 2 circles, 1 to the left, 1 to the right. Remember, this is super slow. Starting with the chin towards the chest and just slowly rotating in one direction. I always feel stuck about here where my head starts going towards the right, and I understand why. Center, rotate to the right, nice and slow. Ooh, another release. Bring the neck up, lengthening. Bringing the palms together in front of the heart. Just having that connection from right side to left, left to right. Let's do a beautiful inhalation here in a moment. So first I want you to exhale fully. Take in a nice deep breath and hold it at the top. Through the mouth, release. Thank you so much for joining me today. I would love to hear any feedback on this program that I've designed, and I am really looking forward to sharing more and more. There will be courses coming out that you can do online. Also, when I get back to Alberta, Canada in May, there will be even more available in-person workshops and classes and retreats. Have a beautiful day, beautiful week, a fantastic month. Be kind to yourself and others, and see you next time.